Hello, boys, girls, and squirrels. My name is Daniel, and I'm a composer who produces, mixes, and masters my own music. So if you're producing your own music or other people's music, this is the channel that's going to help you raise your game to a higher level. So today's an exciting day because we're looking at a brand new synthesizer by a company called Cherry Audio, and this is the Cherry Audio Arp Quadra. Now, Arp Instruments was one of the main innovators of synth technology in the 1970s. Probably their most famous synth was the Arp 2600, which they released in 1972. In 1978, they released the Arp Quadra, and this is the synth that Cherry Audio has taken on and decided to recreate. So hopefully after this video today, you'll have a good idea if they've done a good job on this and if this is a synth that you want to spend your hard-earned money on. This synth has been used by notable bands such as Genesis, New Order, and Pink Floyd, and also famous film director/composer John Carpenter. So this synth has 4 different sections that you can all blend all together and individually change the sounds of each section. You have a bass section, you have strings, you have polysynth, and you also have lead synth. And then it also has these 4 different effects here on the bottom. You have phase shifter, chorus/flanger, echo, and reverberator. And as you can see with these buttons here below them, you can add these effects to each of the individual 4 sections as desired. So I think that's a really cool feature. So I figured the best way to test this synth out is, for me when I get a new synth, the best way that I like to test it out is to write a piece of music. It's one thing to hear all the presets, but it's another thing to see how is this going to work in a song. So I've created a little piece, it's a short piece, and I wanted to use a combination of some of the most iconic sounds that come from this synth, and then also just sounds that I needed to make this song work. But I want to play you this piece, and hopefully you can start getting an idea of what this sounds like and if this is going to be right for you. So let me go ahead and play that, and then I'll show you, we'll break it down more, and I'll show you some of the settings that I used. There you go. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of some of what you can do with this synthesizer. I'd love to show you a couple features. I'm not familiar with this synth. I've never owned one. By the way, these are really hard to find, the actual hardware synths. I could not find one anywhere online. And the one that I did see online was on reverb.com that is no longer available. It was being sold for $11,000. So this is a rare instrument, and it's pretty neat that we can get this stuff in our computers now. But yeah, let me take you through some of this stuff. One of the things I wanted to show you is you can resize the GUI right here in the bottom right. Really easy to do. And so that's a nice feature. It also has this focus button up here in the top middle. So if I click on that, it shows you can zoom way in, and then you've got these little sliders here. I can even do it on my mouse. I can slide around and zoom way in, and that the GUI when you zoom in and when you zoom out looks great. So that's the focus section. Again, if I click focus here, if you go back up to where the focus button was, it says reset. That takes you back to normal. And if I go into the presets here, you have lots of presets, and here's the different categories. You have ARP, basses, leads, pads, poly, sound effects, splits and layers, and strings. And there's lots of presets in each folder. And so, by the way, in the song that I just played you, I used all presets. I didn't try to do any programming. Number one, for time's sake, but number two, I wanted you to hear actual presets so you can get an idea of what they sound like. So if you look at my session here, if you look at my session here, this shows you the name of the presets, and I'll put those in the description. But I just used presets. I want to mention this. I hardly used any EQ. I used a little bit. Mostly I was doing high-pass filtering, but these sounds right out of the box are really good. Did a little bit of high-pass filtering, a tiny bit of EQ. Didn't really use much effects at all for that piece I just played you. I added a little bit of reverb, that's it. So right out of the box, you got some pretty great sounds. Let me see here. What else can I show you? You have a panic button here up at the top. So if you have a note that gets stuck, this little exclamation point right here with the upside down triangle, that's your panic button. And I've had to use that a couple times where a sound did get stuck. But the nice thing is, as soon as I push the panic button, it caused the sound to get unstuck. And I have some other synths, I won't say names, but where the panic button does nothing. So at least this panic button actually works. And again, I've never used the hardware version of this, but I can tell you the settings are very intuitive, very easy to use. I'm finding it easy to fly around and to manipulate the sounds, although I didn't manipulate them a lot in this particular piece. Let me go through some of the individual tracks, and so you can hear some of these sounds individually. So let's take the bass for starters. I used two different bass patches to make up the bass sound, and let me play those for you. So here's the first one. This is a preset called Bass Abyss. Here's the other one. This is called Big Wide Bass. So, and there were much more aggressive sounding bass that I tinkered around with, but decided to go with a more mellow bass sound. So you can get that dirty kind of buzzy bass. They definitely have those presets. Let me see, what other... So this is the arpeggio that I started off the song with. And I really like this sound. So this is under the arpeggio section. It's called Arcade Traveler, and this is untouched. I didn't do anything to that patch at all. That's exactly what it sounds like out of the box. So the main string sound I used in this was this sound. Actually, that's kind of more of a pad sound. I did use another string sound more often than that, but that one's in the strings section. It's called, I think it's called Seraphim Pulse. This is actually the main string sound I used. Let me play that. So to me, that's one of the iconic sounds that I think of when you think of like 70s synths or the Quadra. It reminds me of like the Selena sound, and it's actually that's in the poly section. It's called Big Ol' Poly. And let me see, I'll show you a couple more sounds. Let's see here. Let me scoot ahead here. Oops, try this one. This was a fun sound. This one is called, it's in the ARP section, it's called Star Walker. Another pad sound that I used. This is a sound called Big Poly Octaves, and I put the old Waves one knob pumper on it to get the pumping sound. And let's see what else. I'm going to show you one of the lead sound that I used. So that's called Powerful Lead. It's in the lead presets. And again, that's one that I think I edited a teeny bit, but not much. That's pretty much what it sounded like. I think the only thing I really did to it was I added a little more echo. But that's a great sound as well. One of those iconic, almost Moogish sounds. So hopefully that gives you a better idea of what this synth sounds like and if it's going to be right for you. It's $39 right now. And is it worth the price? In my opinion, it is. I'm excited to use this. And again, you can't really find these synthesizers. So the fact that you can get it for $39 to me is a great bargain. And so I'm excited to have this synth and to be able to use it and to explore it further. So if you like this video, if this helped you out, please give this video a like and also subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to turn on the bell because that'll let you know when my next videos are going to be coming out. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.